and welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hello there and welcome back for another amazing episode. And I cannot wait to introduce you to this special guest to do the Summit of Slay recap with Lola Garant. There we go. Yes.
You got it.
Yay. I'm so proud of myself. So Lola is an author, coach, photographer, and online commerce owner with ADHD. Since 2018, she's been creating online spaces where everyone feels accepted and seen. As the Weirdo Coach, she helps neurodivergent online entrepreneurs to create their dream business that matches their needs. So you can visit her on blackcatsapparel.com. All her information will be in the description of this episode. So, Lola, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I haven't done an interview in a minute. So this got me so excited because I love doing podcasts. It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's so cool because as much as I love to put on makeup, it's a fun, creative thing to do and get dressed up. I love also just sitting here with my, scrunchie in my hair, my nice little comfortable house clothes.
Yep. I feel that to a deeper level. Like today I was like, do I have to look like, I don't know, like an entrepreneur lady and wear makeup and stuff? And I was like, wait a minute, I only have a podcast interview. I get to look like Hot Mess Express and own that shit. Like clothes, like outside clothes are going to go to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I wore your top today. I had to go to the Target and I wore it. I was like, I'm representing my friends and their business.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. You got to send me pictures. I love seeing everyone repping my merch.
Absolutely.
Brings joy to my heart to another whole fucking level that I can't even describe.
Absolutely. Oh, it's definitely going on a gram. I'm like thinking of, do I do a reel with it?
Yeah.
Do I do a live? So it's definitely going to be on the gram.
I'm so excited to see it. Oh my God. This is so cool because especially like Summit of Slay has been a couple of weeks now and everyone ordered my merch to be delivered because I was doing shipping. So now everyone's popping out with the merch in the past in the past week. People that ordered started to getting their merch and everyone started showing up on social with it and posting, tagging me on it. And I got so excited from it. That's crazy.
Yes. What a great feeling. No, for sure. And it's so interesting just to give the people a quick background story. So I just met Lola. Like 3 weeks ago, however long the Summit of Slay was, literally probably less than a month combined. We were to take the weeks together and put them together straight about maybe a month.
Yeah, probably. It's crazy. It's been such a short period of time, but it feels like forever.
Yes. And so when I finally made a decision, we're gonna dive all into this, people. But when I finally made a decision to go to Summit of Slay, there was a private Facebook group for those going, and I just posted, is anyone looking for a roomie? Hey, because we were staying at the Omni Hotel, which is my first time staying at an Omni Hotel. Beautiful hotel. Shout out to them.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing. And Lola responded. She's like, yeah, hey. So we got on Zoom real quick. And I opened the Zoom to anyone who wanted to possibly meet, a roomie, get a feel for the person. And it was a wrap.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was timely. It just worked, and here we are.
Yeah, that's crazy. It all started with a Facebook post.
It started with a Facebook post. So the Summit of Slay, for those who are, new to hearing this, I talked a lot about it on my Instagram, and I hinted towards it, talked a little bit about it with my email list. But the Summit of Slay is hosted by Jamie King, and she's our business coach. She also known as the Slay Coach. And she is but the Summit of Slay is a fully immersive 2-day live event for female entrepreneurs who are ready to take over the world. And, Jamie, she's just amazing. I don't even know where to begin.
She's a whole fucking deal. I love her to death. I've been working with her for years now. And she's just one of my favorite person that I've ever met on this online space. She's amazing.
Totally. Hands down. I love her. And it's just so crazy because there are some people who you instantly connect with. That's Jamie. But it's literally at the point now where instead of saying thank you, I go, love you. She says, love you. That's how real, authentic, and easy it is to love her. It's crazy.
It truly is. It's insane. And I think that's part of the beauty as well, to work online, and you get to meet all these amazing and beautiful and gorgeous souls through computer and the internet, and then that one day that you meet them in person and you get that instant connection that just takes the relationship to the whole fucking other level.
Right.
That's really what happened with me and Jamie. It was crazy because we talked I think a year before I finally met her in person, and it was you're my kind of person, you're my person, we gotta do our thing. We're just one of the same, peas in a pod. It's fucking amazing. I love her to death.
No, absolutely. And it's just when I saw your picture, you had green hair. I'm like, oh, I already know she's my people. I think I told you that when we talked on Zoom too.
Yes.
So when I saw Jamie, and I discovered her through Sam the Cosmic Witch. She's been on the podcast a couple of times, and she had posted that she's getting her hair dyed her business coach. I'm thinking, who is this woman? Because you're getting your hair dyed her color, and I loved it. That's when she had the half purple, half pink hair. And so I went to her Instagram, wow, that's amazing. And then I saw that she said fuck somewhere. I forget if she said it in a video I saw, or I was that's my second favorite word. She is my people. Yes. Yes.
always. And that's one thing that I kind of connected with Jamie as well. This whole podcast now turns into Jamie Appreciation podcast.
No, right?
Some of this was her baby. So, it just fucking makes sense. Right. But when I met her online for the first time, it's just I was so used to these business or coaches or mentor, however the fuck you want to call them. That's this kind of preppy vibe that is always kind of, you got to look perfect. You got to look posh. You got to look professional. But that ain't my jam at all. I am covered with tattoos. I have my hair all sorts of color. Now it's teal and I fucking love it. And I see this loud mouth fucking amazing fucking badass CEO with purple hair that cusses. I'm I gotta be friends with her. What's the deal? What's going on? But yeah, no, as instantly as well, I just saw her. I was like, she's my people. I gotta be friends with that chick. And that's what happened. And here we are, 3 years later or something like that. It's crazy.
That's beautiful. But to your point, it is good to tell people who she is, because like you said, Summer Slay is her baby. And it's well, why would you go? Because you are coming from Canada. And I know some of the people don't know that, but a lot of people came from outside of the country. I really want to emphasize the importance of this and the power, and not Jamie, but yes, her husband, her team, everyone. And so there are people who came from Florida, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Pennsylvania,
everywhere. It was everywhere. Crazy. It was crazy. That woman got me out of the house for the first time in almost 2 years, and not even that, internationally. It was. I'm I'm not even sure if I want to go to a grocery store sometimes, but that woman got me in an airport, in an airplane, a couple of times over, having my nose swab for the panini, too many times that I like to count, and all my ass all the way over in Kentucky. So it was worth it 1,000%.
No, totally. And to what I was saying earlier, how I came to make that decision, because I was nervous because I've been to other summits, conferences, festivals, you name it, I've done it. Especially when I first started my business, when I had self-published my first book. Oh yeah, I was on Google Book Festival, Book Conference, Book Talks, book, all that. So I've been to so many of them, and time again, I felt like, okay, you're here to be a spectator and, learn some things, but let's not get it twisted. These are the speakers. And like you're hierarchy. Down here. Exactly. It's like a hierarchy. Didn't really feel comfortable. Wasn't really that diverse. And, going to the Summit of Slay, Jamie had messaged me. She goes, "Hey, are you coming?" I was like, "I don't know. It's my birthday weekend. I'm not sure, because again, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I tried this before, and I worked, I did the fast track program, but it's in the back of your mind too. Like, oh, I don't know. And then she sent me a video of the previous Summit of Slay, and I was just like, oh my gosh, no, I really need to do this. And I'm glad that I made that decision, because I almost didn't do it. And
I'm so glad you did, though.
I'm so glad I did, because there's actually one story I hadn't told you yet. And I wanted to say that just for the podcast, because you actually really helped me too in this healing process. And I'm telling people this because, like I said, I almost didn't get on the plane. And if I didn't, I would not be where I'm at right now. So we're going to dive into all that. But
let's do it.
Let's do it. So what were your feelings before? And this is a loaded question, so take your time, whatever. I'm before, during, and then after the summit.
It was intense because, again, I'm a good old little Canadian. So I was coming from international, but I was in the first Summit of Slay. So the one that happened in 2019, I was there. I was a participant, and that shit blew my mind. The sisterhood, the uplifting, the just vibe in general, to be able to chill with Jamie. It was one of the most amazing weekend of my life. We had some bomb ass speaker. Like I ended up one day doing tequila shots with Amanda Francis on the rooftop bar of the Hilton in Louisville.
Oh, nice.
And drinking champagne with Cara Liba, the author of Girl on Fire, Girl Code, and Amanda Francis, and all these wonderful fucking CEO babes were just drinking champagne. Someone's ordering, like it was crazy. So the moment that I came back from the 2019 edition, they sold tickets from the upcoming one, and I did not hesitate twice. I just went like, of course. So it was like a no-brainer question for me. I'm like, of course I have to be there again when the next one comes around, which was supposed to be 2020, but 2020, the whole world was on fire. So it got pushed back to 2021. And then when it finally, like we had confirmation that it was going down in August, I had a lot of reservation because, again, I want to be as careful and smart as possible when it comes to traveling, when it comes to health, when it comes to just being smart. So I had a lot of reservation of traveling internationally, and I've been putting it, even though like travel had always been a huge part of my life, I've put out the side ever since the beginning of the Panini. So I decided that Summit of Slay was going to be the time that I'm just going to go, because it's not just for shits and giggles, but it's also for my business. So before Summit, I was very excited to go, like very, very excited to go see my friends that I haven't seen in a long time, to like hear and learn and be there and grow and be a vendor for the first fucking time ever in my business, to be an actual vendor and like in real life at a conference. So I was very, very excited, but at the same time I was very scared because of the whole like Panini situation. It got me very, very scared. But I decided, like my partner was reminding me, he was like, well, if it wasn't for the Panini, how would you feel? And I was like, just fucking excited. He's like, well, focus on that then. And that's what I did. And that got me all the way to Kentucky. And during the conference, my feeling in general was just in awe. I still had a little trace of hysteria, panic, and just anxiety in general because I'm Canadian, I had to get negative COVID test to go back to Canada, which proved to be more difficult than I initially thought. So it was a whole story, a lot of tears just to get a fucking test. But anyway, other than that was more logistics than anything else. The whole event, the entire time I was there, I just felt seen. And I think it's the best way to describe it. Like, you walk in a room and everyone automatically is like, oh my God, girl, you look so fly. You look so fine. Look at the hair. Look at the shoes. Oh my God, you're so amazing. It's just that praise to be seen just for who you fucking are. You don't have to play games. You don't have to pretend. You just have to show up as you, and then people automatically will love you. That vibe for the whole weekend was the cure for like everything. I just felt it was a therapy that I needed to be around powerful, amazing people for a whole weekend and feel like I'm seen, like I'm part of them, like I matter. And it was huge, like huge transformation, huge, so many things that I've learned. And then the same thing when I left, it was a shit show because getting the test again was not easy. Right. I managed to get my ass back in Canada, but it was so stressful. But coming back from that and walking away from that event, I felt so aligned and so inspired to go even more, to go harder in my business and to even more specialize with people with neurodiversities and ADHD and stuff like that to help them out with their businesses. It was even more clear. It's clear for me that that's what I had to do. And it's because of that event. Like, there were so many poke moment from the universe. Be like, hey girl, that's where you're supposed to go. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, let's fucking do it. So it was because of that event, but just all in all, it was such an amazing journey. I was dead tired when I got back home though.
I can see that.
Yeah, I spent a whole day. I think I blew up my inflatable mattress in my living room just to be able to watch like my TV. So I was just laying on the fucking mattress in front of the TV, just watching TV shows, and just like, I don't exist other than that for a whole day because I was so fucking tired, but it was so worth it.
No, totally. I can totally understand. And you're right. It's that sisterhood, that family feeling. You're right. And I had some concerns too before I got on the plane, and I just heard, are you going to let this panini stop you? Like, you know, like, you will always practice what you're supposed to be doing, you know? And then I had a conversation with a woman just before I got on the plane a couple of weeks before, and she was saying how, you know, she's in that, you know, health field, and she's like, you'll be fine. Wear a mask, wear 2 masks if you need to, if you know, whatever, and you're good. She's like, I've been traveling a lot. So that helped calm me down too, was speaking with people who've been there, done that. And when you walk into some of the sleigh, and like you said, to find that community, people who've been there, done that, but they're not looking down on you, they're actually giving you good advice. That is just so priceless. So Doreen, that was the before. And actually, I wanted to read something because, you know, messages come to me the wee hours of the morning, and I document all this. So this was August 26th, because you and I arrived the day before the summit. So we had downtime before and a little downtime, you know, after. And so this came at 2:07 a.m. Your life is going to change starting tomorrow. We are so proud of you. Congratulations. Because I'm always working with my ancestors and goddesses and things like that. And it just came so clear. So I get on the plane. I'm excited. I'm like, yes. All right, cool. We're there. And, you know, during the summit, I was just so floored how, and you mentioned this too, I felt seen, heard, appreciated, included. The level of diversity was unprecedented. Like, I haven't seen that much diversity in years at a particular event. And it wasn't forceful. It wasn't, because it's a vibe that you pick up. I didn't feel like, oh, like they made, an effort to have you like, this person. Like, no, it was, you're a speaker. Cool. It's welcome. You're a business owner or you're thinking about it. You have just come.
Yeah.
And that is something that will always stick with me. Unforgettable. I couldn't imagine that. And again, to the listeners, there were millionaires in the room.
Yep.
People all different levels, and everyone got treated the same.
Yeah.
The same. I've been in places where it's just like you felt it. It's like, listen, okay, like we all have to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And life will humble you real quick.
100%.
So for me, that sense of inclusion, being able to, walk up and talk to anyone, how the speakers were so authentic with their stories. And you touched on this too, the whole, cookie cutter, perfect way. And I'm not saying that people have to tell their business, but when you are someone who's presenting yourself in a certain way, it's very helpful when you say, hey, I know life isn't easy. And here's what I've done, because I have seen way too many stories. And after a while, I know you know this as well. You start to pick up on certain things like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you bartended, you did this, but what happened between years 2 through 4? It's like, oh, I was bartending and I worked really hard, and I'm just using bartending as an example. I don't have any one particular in mind. Is people tend to say bartending, and so it's like, okay, yeah, but how did you get from that to that? And sometimes people don't ask those questions because, and it's okay, people present themselves a certain way. But what you end up learning is, they live with their boyfriend or their parents, and that's okay, but they don't present it in that way. And then you have people feeling like, why am I not further along? Because I'm doing what this person said I should be doing, or they gave advice, and you don't know that other information. So I really appreciated the speakers, like, what's her name? Rayshana. Yeah. And she said she was in bed for 7 days. The pandemic hit.
Yep.
And she has a clothing design business and other things, service-based a lot. And she couldn't, also product. And she's like, oh my gosh, well, people are staying home, so they're not really going to be buying clothes, right? You're home. And she was in bed for 7 days, 7 days. And she had a spouse who come in and check on her. She had to be in bed for those 7 days. And the 8th day, she said, I need to take a shower. And the message came to her to make masks before the mandates. Yeah. Before the mandates, that message came to her in the shower. And she bought wholesale, a bunch of material, made masks with the filter and all that, and made a killing. Yeah. 2020 was her best year yet. But she needed to honor those 7 days. And for her to say that, like, hey, like, I want back to feeling like, and she told us her, background story, why she was in that space, because she was homeless once, and she shared that. So for her to say, hey, man, like, I have kids, like, it was like I got sent back to me when I was homeless and how I'm going to pivot and all these other things. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, that I love so much about Summit of Slay. And as much the first edition as this edition, it's like people are real and raw. They're not playing a game to be top dog. They're not playing a game to be seen as someone they're not. They know, because they feel, like you were saying, it's a whole fucking vibe. They feel that the vibe is accepting, is loving, is caring. So they get to show up and tell people, look, I was homeless. Look, I did this. I was in this situation before, and like whatnot, and all these stories. They feel safe to do that because that's just the whole vibe of that event.
And so afterwards, so Saturday was the second day. And after Evelyn talked about healing childhood wounds and generational wounds as well. And you helped me with this. So here's where you helped me and you didn't realize it. So Evelyn, and she's going to be on the show. She said in her opening lines for the class, even if you had a good childhood, this is for you. Because I almost didn't go. I was on the first floor, and I thought, oh, I had a great childhood. I don't know, but something said you should go. And then you said, oh, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go. So you went up there, and I figured, oh, you know what? Sure, why not? And I think you tend to your table and stuff like that. And then I was like, I'm going to go check it out. And man, oh man. When she got to the part, and it was funny too, because it started to thunder and rain, but everyone, myself included, thought that was part of the meditation music.
Yeah. That's how powerful that shit was.
That's how powerful it was. It just meshed so perfectly. So she gets to the part where she says, reintroduce yourself to your child, and everyone's child appeared differently. For me, she ran up towards me and, she said, remember when you knew you could do it all and you did it all and you were able to do it because you played in between? You're not playing enough. And I was just like, oh my God. And it was just so much. And I'm like, wow, like a lot of other emotions came from that. And so fast forward to, which is Saturday. So that was on Friday. So Saturday and then Saturday we had the Roaring 20s party.
Yes.
So what happened with that childhood wound healing session was that when my grandparents passed away in my 20s, that's when that sense of abandonment came. Not when I was a kid, but they were so integral in my childhood. It was something that just happened later. So when I was waiting for you, and in the night, everyone's wrapping up, and I said, I'm just going to sit down in a chair on the first floor, while you were talking and things like that. So I saw, oh God, what's her name? Was it Rachel? I see her face. So anyway, the group of women who you were talking to got off the elevator and walked out. And I was like, oh my God, is Lola with them? Now, in the past, I would have been like, oh, she left me. Oh my God, I'm going to have to, I know that the hotel is closed, but I'm going to walk back. It's nighttime. Oh my gosh. Like, should I call her? I don't know. I said, she wouldn't leave me. I was like, holy shit. Like
that's so good.
I was like, I didn't doubt it. Cause like, you didn't know me. So like, why would you, say, hey, Tia, I'm going to leave with them. Like, because that has happened in the past where people left and I didn't say anything like, oh, well, I'm an adult, they're an adult. Even though like I grew up, the people who you come with, the people who you leave with, you know, like,
I'm the same. You don't leave friends behind.
Right. And like I was telling, at the top of the episode, we just met.
Yeah.
Sounds like she doesn't have a reason to say, hey, Tia, So I was sitting there like, she's not going to leave me. She's probably talking to someone else. And moments later, bing, the elevator doors open and there you are. I'm like, thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie's team. You guys rock. Like that would have, I like you would never have saw that if I did freaked out anyway. It would have been something that I would have internalized.
Yeah.
And so thank you. This is my formal thank you because it was that nudge. Because I heard it like you should go. And I was like, I don't know. And you was like, I'm going to go check out, Evelyn, whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I probably should. Like I heard it. And then the nudge came from you. I'm like, all right. Let me go check it out. So that was the after that I was just so in a better space that when I came home, even when, our brains are always set to protect us, I couldn't even finish a sentence. Like, oh, well, what is this? Literally my chest felt so whole and complete. And I work on my chakras all the time, but it was like another level. Like there was a higher frequency and like, I couldn't finish the sentence. Like I didn't even finish it now when I talked to you. It's like, no, stop.
Yeah, the rest of the sentence did not happen. Your brain did not happen. We don't do that no more, ma'am. No, thank you.
Not anymore.
Nope.
And so what were some of your highlights? I know there were a lot of highlights. I was telling people what I posted on my IG story was about 10%.
Yeah, basically, because that's the thing too. Like every single time I'm in these bomb ass situations that I'm like learning so much and just absorbing all the good vibes and absorbing all the knowledge, I forget to share it on social media. I think it's a good thing, but sometimes it's like, well, damn, it's kind of my business to be able to share with people on social media. But I forget a lot of the time because it was just so good. And I was so like in the moment. And again, like I have ADHD. Don't ask me to do 50 things at once because I will forget 49 of them. So I'm always just so in the moment focusing on one thing. And that's just how good this shit was. Like I'm ADHD through and through, and I was able to sit throughout the whole freaking thing and not like space out. It was so freaking good. But yeah, all these things made so like there's so many aha moments that it was just so crazy for me. Like first thing first, like being your own worst critique is just part of the like it's part of everyone feels this way, but nobody knows that you ain't shit until you tell them that you ain't shit. Because you know how you feel like, oh, I'm not one of them, like we were talking at first, like, oh, these women's are millionaires, whatever, they have like multiple 6-figure business, and like who the fuck am I to talk with them or be with them or be in a conversation with them. But like until you tell people that you feel like you ain't shit, they're never going to feel that way. Like all the negative things you feel about yourself are not made real in the outside world until you say they're real. And this weekend was so badass for that because I have my own shop. I have my own products and stuff like that. It was the first time I was a vendor. I was so nervous. I brought my book with me because I wrote a book, but English is my second language. I wrote the whole book myself. There's no ghostwriting. I published it myself. It's my partner that corrected most of it. If there's still typos or spelling errors or grammatical errors, I'm fine with it. But it's just like, it's all these things that are made in the like weirdo way, which means like my way, and trying not to give a shit what everybody else thinks about it. But that's for me to be in that space and to be able to do my thing and not fake it till you make it, but feel like you are in your space, like you deserve to be there, like you deserve to take space, like you deserve to be heard and listened and seen, because you do. And if you don't take that space, unless you're in an area, like unless you're in an event like somebody's late, if you don't take your space, nobody's going to give it to you. You have be your own advocate. So that was a very big aha moment for me as well. The inner child, like you were saying, God, that shit made me cry every single time I do like inner child healing. I bawl my eyes out because it is so freaking powerful to go through. And for me, that was a huge thing to understand that, again, like she said, like even if you had a good childhood, this is still for you. And the aha moment as well, like I knew that, but I kind of, it was good to hear it again. When you were like 5 months like old and your mom's, like when you were still in the womb, you were sharing, like when your mom was 5 months old, she had the ovaries that would create you. So technically you spent time in your mom while she was in your grandmother. So y'all are sharing some like vibes and past memories and traumas together. So if your grandma lived through some shit, it's going to affect you. All that was so strong and so intense. But yeah, that whole thing, like if y'all have like any feeling of abandonment, of neglect, trust, guilt, shame, like look into your inner child wounds, because that thing is powerful, and you're not even aware how much it impacts you until you actually start to heal it. And it's that moment that you feel those like, oh my God, I've been keeping myself from doing like whatever X, Y, and Z. I haven't felt worthy, whatever it is, until you kind of realized what's actually been going on through all of that. Yeah, so there's so many things like that. Chloe Elise, which is Deeper Than Money, is so amazing. Her talk was like so freaking good. I love everything she does. She's all about helping millennials to just make more money and keep more money. So like talking about stuff like the more powerful I feel, the more money I make, and then the more money you make, the more power. It's like the whole thing, but it starts to how you allow yourself to feel. And I feel that was the biggest takeaway from this weekend for me. It's like the power resides within me because I have power over how I allow myself to feel. Nobody else can make me feel a certain way. They can try to influence me with situation, words, whatnot. But at the end of the day, I get to decide how I want to feel and how I allow myself to feel and think and just move forward in this world. But that was so good for me, 1,000%. And Jamie's talk as well about identities and just being true to who you are. But that again, those were all the nudges for me because I've been thinking for so long to focus more and more my business on neurodivergent business owners, like myself, to help them with their businesses. And I've had this nudge for like almost a year now, but I haven't acted on it because I was always afraid, like, well, I'm serving more people right now if I don't define my services as neurodivergent. Like I'll talk about my ADHD, but I won't like specify my services for neurodivergent business owners because I want to serve as much people as I can. Always the fear of running out of something. But during Summit of Slay, there's so many talk of, because Jamie as well has ADHD, there's so many talk about this and pushing it forward and talking about it. And I saw so many other amazing people feeling the same way that I used to feel about my ADHD and feeling like something's holding me back, something's keeping me from living my best life. And I was like, I get to help these people. Like I get to be there for them and teach them because I've been diagnosed as an adult with ADHD when I was like 21 and now I'm 28. And for the past like 3-4 years, I've done nothing but like personal growth and learning about ADHD and how it impacts me, how it impacts my business. And I'm like, I get to help all these people with all the things that I know. That's what I need to do. And the more I kind of leaned into that, the more the universe was like, yep, you go, girl, come on. That's it. Now. Okay. Now you go and you do the thing. And I was like, okay, universe, I get you. I hear you. I'm gonna do it.
Lovely. I love that. There were so many great nuggets.
Yeah.
An aha moment for me is it was a collective of things. When I just took everything in and was shown exactly how easy it can be. Meaning that, the journey to get to a certain point, that is rough, but it does get easier. You can be around successful people and it's okay. I know that exists because I found it here and there, but the community for someone to say, oh, now you're part of the slave family, but it felt real. It was just like, oh my gosh, I finally found my community of badass, again, diverse, queer, straight, whatever, like Asian, like it was so, I was like, I finally found my community. Like it just all came to a point that's like, wow, like just wow. Where it's to have that many people in a space consistently who let you know, like, no, it's okay. Like how many times people think it, like, man, it would be so nice, even though you know eventually you're going to make it, but when you're in the thick of it, you have a lot of questions in your mind, right? So for someone to say it's going to be okay, and also not to confuse with being like nice and stuff, like, no, you're going to get that tough love, right? Which I love because that's what's so needed. You know, it's okay to be nice and things like that. But as an entrepreneur, you also need that tough love. Like, girlfriend, I hear you. We're going to give you time, you know, so you can regroup. But then it's boots to the ground.
Yep.
As opposed to, oh, well, you know, we all have issues, so I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's like,
that's like, and I love that concept too of toxic positivity. just like trying to, oh, it's all going to be great. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But it's great to be there to support and to love and to bring a positive side. But you need to have actionable course of actions that you can also bring to the table. Like someone's having a bad time, it's great to be there to support them, to give them a glimpse of positivity and uplift them. But you also need to be like, okay, well, I'll hold your hair and give you tissues and pet your back and give you hugs. But then I will also write a whole ass badass business plan with you. And I'm going to go knock on doors and help you get whatever you need to get to make this work. So you need both. You need both to be like, okay, we'll cry now, but then no more ice cream and we go and get shit done. Okay.
Right. Exactly. I believe in you. Just like another speaker, Rachel Spencer was saying, I don't care about your numbers on Instagram. I don't care about any of that. And that's the truth. And that's a beautiful thing because again, we are part of, the Instagram world and it's easy to get caught up in that. And I used to be one of those people like, oh my gosh, this person must know what they're talking about. They have 157K followers, all these things. And when you start to dig a little deeper, you learn like, oh man, half of those are bots,
Yeah, exactly. They're bot followers. They don't mean shit.
Right. So it's just refreshing that there are so many successful people on so many different levels and they're telling you, hey, look, this is what works for me. Yeah. I don't get up at the crack of dawn, run 5 miles and come back and listen, this is what works for me. And I delegate everything. And my life's better for that. And here's why. It's like, oh, snap. I love that too.
Yeah, 100%.
So at the Roaring 20s party, so actually let me backtrack. So those were the 2 days. There was 2 days of speaking and dancing. The DJ was amazing.
Yes, both of the DJs.
Yes, and the vendors, like I had posted all the stuff. Well, your package came in yesterday, but for the people who I purchased like right then and there when I came home, well, except for that blue pocketbook. That blue pocketbook was everything.
Yes. Yes. That was like, again, a gift from the universe. Like you asked for it. Like I remember we talked about it. And the next day you turn around, the first thing you see at one of the vendors is the exact same you've been asking for. It was like, it's right there.
Exactly. And that was crazy. You're right. I forgot about that. I asked for it.
Yeah.
So the quick backstory to that was that I couldn't find this one black pocketbook that I tend to use. It's like cute little fancy little pocketbook. And I couldn't find it. So I figured, did I lose it? And I know I didn't lose it in the movie. I was thinking maybe I threw it in trash or something like that. And then I just heard, you don't need that. Like it's so crazy how clairaudient I am at times. I heard, you don't need that. You're going to get a pocketbook. But me being a little bit like, well, I need to know.
Yeah. So I need to know for sure.
Right. Like I've been working on my patience, but it's just never going to be quite right. Like I need to know. I don't want to wait. So I get there and I tell you, and I think I even showed you the dress on the first day or something like that. I forget. So I go to check out the vendors, and as the vendors are just, putting their stuff on the table, I'm looking and I think, not only was it blue, it was the right color blue.
Yeah, it was like everything was perfect about it.
Crazy. Yeah. So that was truly amazing. Yeah. And I posted, when I came home, I posted the rest of the things that I got from the vendors. And yeah, it was such a cool place to be because even the vendors were nice. The vendors weren't like, oh, you don't want to buy or you're looking too hard. It's like, oh, let's have a conversation. And it was just a flow.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were the first 2 days. The second day we had food trucks and that food was good. Everything was good. Saturday we have the Roaring 20s party and, people dressed up. There was an amazing drag queen show.
Yes. Oh my God. These fucking drag queens were fabulous. I cannot it was so great. It was so great.
Yes. Oh my God. The performance, I just couldn't get over it. That was next level. The one drag queen that was like a ballerina or had the ballerina. That was like Cirque du Soleil in my world. I was just
it was out of this world. I was not expecting that. Like I knew there were going to be drag queens, but I was not expecting them to be that fabulous. But when I saw them walk, oh my God, every song was epic. Every performance was out of this fucking world. It just made it made my heart sing.
Right. No, my voice was hoarse. Cause I just kept saying, yes, bitch. Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
It was such a great time. And I love seeing people have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the one drag queen, I said, you are it. I'm like that performance you did. And, couldn't say how thankful, to be, because like we never know how that impacts someone when we tell them how we are appreciative of their performance, the makeup on point, the costume on point, the choreography, everything. We don't know how that impacts someone.
Yep.
Exactly. He may have been ready to quit. That may have been his last night. Like, you know what? This has been working out. I don't know, man, but I'm getting paid for his one last gig and I'm done. What I said and what all the other, women, other people were saying, that might have changed his whole perspective.
Yeah, we never know.
Because that's all he kept saying is he just kept saying, you have no idea what that means to me. He just kept saying, you have no idea. And I think to myself, I bet I don't, because we really don't know what people are experiencing day to day.
No, exactly. And that's why, like I was saying in the beginning, like this whole conference, it's about feeling seen and feeling like you're valued and you are worthy. So when you bring people in that atmosphere, and the same thing, like the DJ kept saying, like, you guys are so fucking amazing. And you're like, no, you're amazing. But it's like when you walk into this bubble of positivity, but badassery at the same time, it's like, it's out of this world. But I'm so grateful that we get to like bring people in that bubble, and those drag queens like deserve to be there and be part of the group. They were just so fucking amazing. Like brilliant.
Absolutely. And then Sunday we chilled by the pool and I got tanned.
I got tanned too.
And Lola got tanned too. Yeah. She was Lola, trying hard.
Yeah. I'm white as snow, y'all. And it's just, I can't tan. It's not a possible thing for me most of the time. But after a whole day in the sun, reapplying sunscreen about 10,000 times, I managed to tan a little bit. Though I got sunburned in my face, like a little silly goose that I am. And I got burned on my face and my butt. But for the rest, I tanned a little bit, which I was very happy about.
Actually, you know what? I'm peeling just a little bit now. Like, it's weird. Like just now. Like, well, not like just now, but today.
Yeah.
But it didn't show at all before. It was just like a delayed, but it was like, it's just a little bit on my shoulder, not much. But yeah, it was just so funny. I went to go to the bathroom and I just started pulling down my what do you call it, swim dress. I'm like, oh snap. Because it took me by surprise, because we were just dancing by the poolside and talking and stuff, and then we finally got in the pool. I didn't think that, for some reason, I just didn't think we were going to be out there for that long. I thought we were going to be sitting, with like maybe an umbrella up somewhere, and then we go back in the pool. Like, I just had a whole different play game, playbook in my mind. So yeah, it was just so nice. Again, it was just downtime. It's like we had this epic 2 days, and the 2 days felt like, I don't know, it felt like maybe 3 or 4 days, but I wanted the summit to be longer, but it felt like it was longer because it was just so impactful.
Yeah.
Even I'm thinking about the dancing too. The two ladies that got up, and then we were like touching our toes and twerking to Megan Thee Stallion, and I just love that. And it was all about working on your root chakra.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is amazing. So, here it is. It's Sunday, chilling by the pool. We're getting food. We're getting good drinks. And it's funny because I didn't even drink alcohol on Sunday. Like, I was getting that, it was the, I forget the name of the drink, but it was just like this cool summer drink.
Yeah.
And because we were just so in tune with each other and on the same frequency, and nothing was off the table to talk about because we respect each other and like, listen, other women wanted to join in and talk with us.
Yeah.
Like,
we made friends are like, this vibe is good. Can we jump in?
It's so good.
Like, of course.
Right. Yes. It's so funny because Danielle, she had went to the restroom, and she was gone for a while. And I said, I know she's talking to someone because she is just a crazy extrovert.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, she said, this is Taylor. And I forget the other woman's name. And they was listening to us and they were shy to come over. So I'm bringing them over. So now you got 2 more women in the pool.
Oh, I love that.
And then there was another woman who was a model for Rayshana.
Yes. Oh my God. She was stunning.
Stunning. Okay. Stunning. And she was there with her mom and grandmother. I was like, first of all, you're lying. I need to see some ID. I don't believe your ages at all. You guys are, you ladies are sisters. Fake news.
That's nonsense. Like those, like all of these women were gorgeous, stunning, and none of them look a day over 40.
Right. I'm just like, lies. I need to see birth certificates.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, because we just have that authentic energy that's good. It's not, that fake positivity. It's not that, okay, well, you can be around me, but I don't want you to do better than me. It's like, hey, look, we're all in this together. You're a queen. We're all queens. You got your lane with, the clothes, and you got your lane with the coaching. You got your lane with the art. Great. We all complement each other in some way, shape, or form. And people were picking up on it. And like, how cool is that? Yeah. Like we're just chilling poolside. That's it. And having conversations.
No. It was crazy. The whole vibe was there. And it's just, and that's why, like, last Summit of Slay, I think, I don't know. I think because we had some conferences on the Sunday, but it ended at like noon or 1 p.m. or something like that. And I decided not to catch like a late flight and to stay until the Monday. And that Sunday afternoon/evening was the best fucking thing ever, because I got to chill with all the people, the new friends that I made, with Jamie, with all the speakers. And that really made me feel like I had a seat at the table. Mm-hmm. And it was a massive impact. And that's why I was like, no, this time around, I want to stay until the Sunday. And I was like DMing with Jamie before the event. She's like, you're staying for Sunday, right? I'm like, hell yeah, girl. When the organizer messaged you and be like, bitch, you're staying for Sunday, you have to stay for Sunday.
Exactly.
So, so I stayed. But that's the thing. And that's why I love that moment at the pool so much. And when you have the chance to go to a conference or to just sit, because I think that's one sort of vibe to be at a conference and there's someone on stage and you're in the audience and you're listening to them. So like we were talking before, like the vibe was not like hierarchy, like, oh, there's some people better than you because they're on stage and stuff like that. It all felt very more like a family, like a group thing. But it still feels a little bit more, oh, there's someone on stage teaching me something. But the moment you are your ass sitting right next to someone at the same level in the same pool, talking shit and telling each other your struggle and your successes and all of it in between, you feel so much seen and heard. And that for me, like, was so magical when we were sitting by the pool, because that's what's going on. It's like, regardless of if you were on stage, you are not on stage, how much money you make, how much employee you have, whatever it is, we were all equals. And I think that's the vibe that was so potent for the Sunday and made people kind of want to hone in, is because we were so loving and accepting of each other, and we wanted to be there and support and help and love each other so much that everyone was just like, oh my God, who are these bitches over there?
Right.
They look like fun. Can't we join in? We want to have some love and acceptance as well. And I just want to make, people just kind of gravitated around that. And that was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Totally. And I love that, because that's what it's about. I want people to see that and think, you know what? Yeah. I want to be in that space too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why
and
not?
You get to be, because there's one thing to like, oh, I kind of want to be in that space, but feeling like you have the right to be there and feel included regardless of where you come from. That's the fucking key. Like, that's the success for me.
Right. And like I've always said too, your team represents you. Like, I spoke with Dustin. Dustin's her husband. Amazing conversation.
Daddy.
And he's so funny, daddy. And he's so funny. We saw her adorable children.
I played with them forever.
Their adorable children. Right. They're so cute. And one thing I love about seeing kids have fun. Some people, it didn't happen there, but some people like, oh, kids. And kids remind me of innocence. They remind me just go have some fun.
Yeah.
Like those kids weren't worried about anyone else in that pool.
No.
And as adults, how many times you go in a place and like, oh, let me put my guard up a little bit. They would just splash, swim. And how cute was her daughter? She wanted to show her gym. I'm like, Audrey, so it was the gym too.
Audrey so is something else. She's sassy as fuck, but she's the cutest thing. And that's the thing, like, I'm a kid at heart. I've worked with kids almost all my life. I love them to death. And as soon as I saw, because I played with her kids last time as well, and this time around, I was just there when at first I like just poking fun at them, like just being, I'm always the naughty auntie. Like, I just want to like, I don't know. I just want to always make them a little bit angry, but in a fun way, just be like, right. poking at them a little bit, like, hey, I'm going to steal that. And they're like, no, but they look back and like, please chase me. So, yeah, but it was so much fun as well. Like, because again, I'm a kid at heart, and it felt so good to be in a space. Like, I was able to sit and have powerful conversation, but I turned around and like Jamie felt safe enough. And this is such like a proof again that it's a whole big family. She brought her kids and her husband, and everyone. And like, I'm like, oh, there. And then just playing with her kids. And at the end, she gave me a big hug. She's like, thank you so much for playing with my babies. And I'm like, always, like, I'm always going to be there. And for me, that's what it feels like. It feels like part of a family. And same thing, because I had a lot of trouble with like to get my COVID test in time to go back to Canada. I was stressed. I didn't even know if I were going to be able to catch my flight on Monday. And Dustin, A, and Jamie, both of them, they're like family. They're like, oh, don't worry. You can stay at our house. You can come over. We'll come pick you up. We'll do anything you need. Like, your family, Lola. Like, we're going to be there for you. And it's like, what kind of fucking conference do you go to?
Right.
Like, the organizer invites you to stay at their house if you need. Like, it's just this most amazing, beautiful vibe ever. And that's why I'm just like, this is family. Like, it's absolutely family. And it feels so good to see them in person. That's what I was saying, like in the beginning, it was like therapy, because it's just like seeing this chosen family of yours that you haven't seen in years now. And you get to finally see them again. It was so good. So good. Absolutely.
And I didn't take that lightly that she brought, the children around, because that is something, like near and dear to their heart. Yeah, you got to feel safe to do that. Exactly. And it's funny that you said you like the naughty aunt. I like to make faces at kids. When I used to catch the train and I would see a kid, I go like, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
To pick with the kids. I love children. So it was just such a cool experience.
Yeah.
It's like you go in like, okay, yeah, this is a business conference, but you leave realizing, it's life therapy.
Exactly. 100%. It's like, it's the soul soothing therapy that you didn't even know you needed, but you walked out and you're like, oh, damn, I needed this. This is the kind of therapy you can put on your tax returns.
No, for real.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And the thing is, this is why I wanted to have this episode, especially with you, because so much went down. And I know, like, we talked about this too, where I had my notebook and I wrote some thoughts down at night and things like that. So much went down that I wanted to share some of that with the people who weren't able to make it, maybe because they just didn't know about the Slay Coach. Because I know, and I know you felt like this in the past too, as an entrepreneur, you want to have a community. Even if it's one or two people, because no one is going to fully understand your thoughts, your actions, etc., besides another entrepreneur. And there's no disrespect to anyone else, or even a high performing like person in another field would get it as well. Yeah. But there are a lot of people who mean well, but they apply a lot of logic, and logic will tell you should stay where it's safe and things like that. But nothing is really truly safe. Nothing is really truly secure. So why not take this calculated risk? Like why not? Yeah. And in doing so, you find your community, but we have to always look within, because if I wasn't true to myself with my tattoos and my hair color and my cussing and although I would never have gotten to that point. You know, like I don't judge people on their lifestyle.
No,
you know, it's so crazy how people look at something like, oh my God, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't.
You boo.
You
I
do
me.
you, and I do me. Exactly. Like,
yeah.
Look, you want to get married with two people or one, but whatever. Yeah. Hey, look, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. So it's just so nice to be in a space where that's not an issue, but that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, no.
Are you a decent person?
You know? Are you a good human being? Cool.
Are you a good human being? Exactly. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, to find that community who's not judging you, like, well, why don't you have this set up? Or why aren't you doing that? Or, well, do you have this? It's like, whoa, like, you don't know me. You don't know what I have. Yeah. Like, you know, so, or to do that as a sneaky tactic to get you to follow them or do something. Like, sometimes I would enter a conversation with people and then it turns out we're like, oh, well, I follow you. It's like, I'm not required to follow you because you followed me. Like, I thought we were just talking about something. And then it's just like, oh, boop. Like, there's no, don't watch what the left hand's doing, watch the right hand. It's, you know, we having these authentic, so natural, so organic that people who don't know us wanted to be in the pool with us.
Yeah. That's powerful as fuck.
Right? They weren't thinking about the panorama, you know, like, oh my gosh, you know, they were just like, you know what? I need to talk with these women. There's something about what they're saying. Now, we weren't talking really about business per se. No. We were talking about life. We were talking about sex. We were talking about traveling. We were talking about social constructs that need to get deconstructed.
Yeah, we were talking about everything. We're talking about life, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to wrap all this up, we were talking about meeting up once a year.
Yep.
And I told Dustin that, and he goes, "Am I invited?" I'm like, of course. Yeah. We can squeeze it in. We can work out something. We can find a spot for you.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just, you know, even when I was on a plane, I just knew, like, in the words of Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's price. I just knew the Tia that was on the plane on, what was it, Thursday, not the same Tia on Monday.
Yeah.
And that was just, what, 2-3 days, because the Evelyn, so because it started on Friday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 3 days, and that's it.
That's crazy.
Right. 3 days and made lifelong friends. That's crazy. In this day and age.
Yeah.
Not back then when we made like cool friendship bracelets and we rode our bikes, you know, like in this day and age where, you know, and it's so funny because a lady said this years ago on my podcast, before social media is what it is now, when Instagram was just sepia, black and white, like no filter. She said, what people see on, because back then Facebook was more the thing back then. She said it's a highlight reel. And that was the first time I heard someone say highlight reel. And now we see it so much on social media that sometimes we don't know if that's really the person until we have a conversation with them, until we, you know, get to know them a little bit more. So the fact that they were authentic from the jump, like what you see on Jamie's social media is how she is in real life. Yeah. Like, that's not a highlight reel for her. That's her life. How crazy and dope is that? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. A lot of time, like, you'll meet someone on social media, and when you meet them in real life, you're like, oh, that's the real version. Like, it's like a 2 different version. Jamie, the person you see online, the person you see on like calls, is the person you're going to meet in real life. It's crazy.
And her team reflects that. That's why when some people say, oh, well, you know, you can't, no. Your team reflects who you are. I'm not saying that you're responsible for 100% of their actions all the time, but there's something there that your team reflects who you are. Oh, and by the way, the speakers, Jamie and her team, they knew everyone's name just about. Like, she was calling people from the audience. I'm like, what? Like, oh yeah, so-and-so, 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 so-and-so.
That was crazy.
I was like, oh. it's that, as they say, that high level, high touch support, but it's authentic. It's not just to be like, oh, I know. It's like, no, girl, come, like literally Jamie, and I don't remember her name. She had a member from the audience when she asked people who had ADHD and when they got diagnosed. She had the member from the audience. She wasn't a speaker. She was an attendee. Come up on stage. Where do you go where the host, the organizer, lets an attendee just come on stage? Like just like that rarely happens. And she told her story.
Happens. Yeah.
Right. I can't think of a time where someone who's like really successful, like, oh yeah, we're going to get like a random person to come on stage.
No, it was so good. So freaking good. Like, I still can't believe how amazing that weekend was.
Absolutely. And so that's what I have for Summer of Slay. I feel like there's so much more that I can't even think of right now, but I don't want to have people here for like 5 hours.
Because we could talk about it for 5 hours.
Right. Something else is going to pop up and this and
always. All
right. Because we didn't even talk about the next top speaker where people were able to, speak and all the other stuff. And so, I mean, like, and the freak rituals, you know.
Oh my God, that was so good.
That was amazing. It was truly one of those events that you had to be there.
Yep. 100%. And it's like, and that's the thing. It's just, it's so magical. And that's why, like, after the first event, I was like, I gotta be there for the second one. Like, there's no way I can't be there.
Right. Exactly. And that's why it's crucial to surround yourself with the right people, not people who's always going to agree with you, but the people who need to give you that little nudge. Jamie gave me that little nudge. She, sometimes we all need it at different points in our lives, that little nudge.
Yep. Always. And that's why I like following your instincts of like where you should be and how and what you should do. Because sometimes it's like the nudge, it's like, go to this or do that. The nudge is not necessarily exactly like what you have to do if you're looking for answers, but it's to put you in a place that you're going to find those answers.
Yeah, because I didn't go in there thinking to heal childhood wounds.
No.
I didn't go in there thinking I was going to make all these friends. I went in there thinking like, okay, I'll probably meet one or two people. Yeah. It'd be nice. It looked like the last time it was amazing. I'm sure I'm going to have a great time, but it is seated expectations with a capital E.
Yep. Yep. Oh, for sure. It was crazy. Crazy.
So one thing I do want to do before I wrap up. So I pulled an Oracle card, and I did this at the last minute, right before we hopped on. Because I got this new deck from a lady, what is it? The Quirky Cup Collect. Is a collective collection. One moment. Oh, these cards are so beautiful. They came all the way from Australia. The Quirky Cup Collective, Live by the Moon Zodiac deck. I pulled this. Oh God, I'll send you some pictures. They are beautiful. And so the card I pulled is Aquarius. And I know this is not a water sign. It's an air sign. I triple check and I'm just like, wait a minute. I know this one was a little tricky. So, but the key words here include independence. And it made me just think about, the sum independence, rebellious, and sincere. And I thought about this and how it related to the summit and how the listeners can benefit from this, because there comes a point in time where we have to have a point of no return, that we have to say, you know what, we're going to be committed to ourselves. And what do I have to do? What resources can I tap into? Like, what can I do? Yeah. And so with this card, I'm just getting to tap more into your intellect. So many times I come across people who think that they can't do something for whatever reason, societal programming, not enough positive people around them, whatever the case may be. But we are truly smarter than we realize. We are, yes. And it's so unfortunate how sometimes people think that something about them, like Jamie said, labeled, and you talked about it earlier too, how something about them means that they can't go forward or be as successful, but that's not true. That's where also your magic is. So this rebellious, that's exactly what we're doing. We are not living the way that society is telling us.
No.
And people listening to this, I know you feel like that too. There's something within you that's like, I want to dye my hair a certain color. I want to get that tattoo. I want to do this. I want to do that. So use this as your nudge to really embark on your mental journey. Understand what you are capable of and your independence, because you're going to have to make that choice. No one else was going to make that choice for me, right? Jamie would still love me. She would have felt sad that I didn't show up, but she still would have loved me. But guess what? 2022 is, at the time of this recording, 106 days away, 103 days away. Time is going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
So why not take a calculated risk? Why not be rebellious and sincere with yourself and your actions? So that's just the message from this.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just all about it. I want everyone to win, whatever their win looks like. And I'm just over people. And unfortunately, some coaches do this, try to make them fit in some cookie cutter spirituality, a cookie cutter coach, whatever your field is, when they should be allowing them to be creative, to give them that nudge, to give them space for discovery. And it's hurtful. So I'm just glad to have met you, Jamie, Dustin, Rachel, the Sabotage Queen, Chelsea, all of them. I'm so happy, so appreciative. And there's just no going back, because I crossed my point of no return. So I'm urging anyone who's listening to this, determine your point of no return and see it to the end. Because what I have learned over the years, the people who stay in the game the longest, who are flexible, open-minded, they have grit, they keep going, they win. Yeah. They win every single time. So tap into this energy, listen to things Lola and I said, go visit Jamie on her Instagram, the website, all that. Tap into that energy, because there's really nothing like it.
No, there's literally nothing like it, because feeling that you're worthy just because you're breathing is priceless.
You are enough just as you are.
Yep.
Thank you, Lola.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
Yes. Oh, and I must say, Lola and her partner are so cute. Aww. They are so cute. They're so cute.
Oh, thank you. He's the best. Like, he supports me in all my crazies, and I can't never be grateful enough for him.
Yes. That's also another thing that I didn't mention. Every single person there who had a partner, their partner was 100% in. Yeah. There was not a single one that was like, oh, I'm here, left the partner home, or like, oh, my partner, he or, she gave me, some money to be here. It was like, no, yeah, they were in the building with their partner. Some of them were recording their wives.
Yeah, that was so cute. That was so fucking cute.
Right? Yeah. So it's possible. It's possible to have someone who loves you, supports you 100%. So many times we hear people say, oh, the people closest to you won't. It is possible for that to happen.
It is. It really is.
So yeah, it was a beautiful time.
Yes. Oh my God. I would do it all over again. Like, yeah.
All over again. All over again. I'm still thinking about that pool. I'm still like, I want to be in a pool.
Yeah, I just want to go back, like, and that's the thing, like, we talked about this too, like, can we just have a do-over with like every other month and just go to that pool and that rooftop like area and just have like mini masterminds with other like badass bitches and just talk about whatever we want and just kind of regroup, refocus, and then we go our merry ways, and then we come back a couple of months later and to just be in that vibe, that high vibe, good juju place.
Right. Like I still talk with people from the summit, like Nina, who was the next speaker. Like, yeah, I'm like, literally, we're still, and that's the beauty of it. It's not like, all right, it's done. Nice meeting you. See you later. Like, I'm still in touch with people. Yeah. So beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah. So thank you for being on the show. Oh, do you have any last words? I know we talked about a lot, but any final thoughts?
Well, just a little like on the same track you were saying earlier, and because that's like my whole vibe, that's my whole brand, and that's what I preach for like day and night. It's like, do it your way, do it weird, do it different, and just know that there's always going to be people that are open and ready to listen to you. Because if you feel different, if you feel that you need to take another path, chances are there's a shit ton of people out there that feels just the same. So the more space you take as your authentic self, the more space you create for other people to be there themselves as well, and to reach out to you and to be there with you and to love and support you because they see themselves in you. So I know it takes a lot of guts. It needs to sometimes grow a vagina to do it, but get out there and do the damn thing because you're worthy. Mm-hmm. And if you have a dream and hopes that were placed in your heart, they weren't placed there by accident. It's because you're meant to go towards them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Love all that.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it down to my cells, molecules, got deep in the soul. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm sending everyone.
Welcome.
Yay. I'm sending everyone so much love, blessings. I'm rooting for you. Remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.